What's up, Tennos? It's your boy, the Warframe, and we're back with another Warframe video. As you guys can see by the title of the video, you already know what this is going to be about, so let's get straight into it. Are you guys tired of farming point? Okay, no, we're not doing that. I was thinking about doing the intro like that, no cap, but we're not doing that. I'll laugh too much. We all know Warframe, love it or hate it, it's a very grindy game. Consumes a lot of both our time and energy that is very precious to all of us when it comes to playing the game. So I thought I'd give you guys like an updated guide on the most efficient ways possible for you to farm a lot of the most precious resources in Warframe. Like through my years of playing the game, I discovered a lot of tips and tricks and a lot of mission types that help you farm resources the most fastest and most optimal way possible. So I thought I'll just make a video giving you guys all those tips and tricks. So without further ado, let's get straight into the video. Alright, so first on the list we have syndicate points farming. We all use syndicates for two reasons, and the two reasons being because of the offerings that they give us, and that is relic packs and augmentation mods. Relic packs, obviously, if you don't know, when a new prime frame comes out into the game, the new relics have a chance from dropping from these relic packs that you buy and open. And we all use augmentation mods for our warframes because they give us different playstyles and they give us variety when it comes to doing builds and etc. So the most obvious way for you to get syndicate points is buying the whatever faction that you're with, sigil, and placing it on your warframe, like back or chest or wherever you want to put the sigil. And you do missions for the star chart and you passively gain standing. But that takes time and we're not here for that. We want to save over time. So the fastest way for you to do syndicate points farming and the most efficient way is for you to go in navigations. And if you look in the top right corner, there's a syndicate tab right here. If you click on it, you have these syndicate missions. You have all of these missions that your syndicates give you. You get 3 missions per faction, and these reset daily. Now, there are 2 main reasons why we're doing these syndicate missions. One, because they give you a decent amount of standing for doing each of these missions. The lowest you can get is like 2k plus standing for doing one mission, and like the highest you can get is 5k plus. This gives you a great amount of standing for you to be doing and for you to farm. But the second most important reason why we're doing these missions, because each faction has their own medallion, and these medallions, I believe is a total of 8, are hidden throughout each of these missions that you can go and collect. This is why it is important for you to have loot detector on like your companion, so you can see where these medallions are faster, because they are pretty well hidden throughout throughout the tile set that you can miss a few if you're not looking carefully enough. Now we go to the relay and we go visit the factions that we got the medallions for. We can trade these medallions in for extra standing. You do the syndicate missions, you get the syndicate points that you get for completion, and while you're doing this mission, you or the people that are with you can look for these medallions throughout the mission, so that you can get the total 8 and you can trade these in for extra standing upon finishing. Okay, so next on the list we have trade chat. Love and I hate it, we all have to do trading in Warframe at some point in time, whether you're a new player or old. We all have to do trading. And we all know that trading in trade chat can be like a pain, especially if you see you have to camp in trade chat for a while trying to get whatever set that you want for like cheap, or you're trying to sell something in trade chat and no one's biting on what you're trying to offer. So I'm going to show you guys the most efficient way for you to be spending your time doing trades, and a way for you to save your time and your platinum most efficiently. So there's a website that I use time to time called Warframe Markets. Now, I am in no way, shape, or form sponsored by this website at all, but I will be showing you guys like how to use this, because we all know that most people in trade chat does not have the best intentions in mind when it comes to selling a prime set or mod, etc., because they overinflate the price by a lot when it comes to selling certain items. So I'm gonna show you guys how to use Warframe Market. So if you go here, you can search up like literally anything that's tradable in Warframe, whether it's like a prime parts, or if you want to look for a prime mod or arcanes, or if you're even looking for like tradable items such as like the vehicle heck, the list goes on. So the best way for you want to use this is if you want to sell an item. Let's say you're trying to get the newest Prime blueprints and you haven't been able to get it, and people in trade chat are selling it for like a ridiculous amount of plats. So if you go search up Wisp Prime, you're gonna get a list of all of the sellers that are currently selling Wisp Prime blueprints right now. And like you see here, the first person that's selling a Wisp Prime blueprint, you have it for 39 platinum for you to buy it. And you could, what's great about this website is that not only do you get the gamer tag of the person in game, you also get to see like their online status as well, to see whether or not they're in the game currently, or you have some, if you scroll down here, you see those people who are offline and are not currently online. So you see the Whisper blueprint that you want, you see that the person selling it for like a reasonable amount of plats, you search up that person in-game name through Warframe, and then you send them a message telling them that you want to buy the Whisper blueprint that they're offering on the Warframe markets. This saves you a lot of time to see who's selling what, and you can go through the list to see if anybody's selling the prime parts at a reasonable amount of plat that you're willing to spend. So this is a great site which you can use if you have any issues and you want to save time instead of just sitting in chit chat. So you can also do this. I'm going to show you guys an example of like how this is like way much better than using trade chat majority of the times. So right here, I found something that somebody was doing in trade chat while I was recording this video, coincidentally. So this person here is trying to sell the legendary fusion core, which is a random drop from the sortie, and they're selling it for 250 plats. Now, a new player not knowing like how much a legendary fusion core generally goes for would probably just buy this with whatever plat they have, thinking that they're never gonna get a better offer than this. So if you look up again in the same site I was talking about, Warframe Market, so I'm gonna type out here legendary fusion core. See, it pops up. Then I get a list of all of the sellers who are currently selling the legendary fusion core and are online in the game currently. And the first person that pops up, they're selling it for 129 plats. And then you have, the list goes on, you have 140, and it slowly goes up higher. Instead of buying a fusion core for 250, which is unreasonable, you can just pull up the sites, search for whatever more the prime part that you want, and then you can get it for like a whole lot cheaper and save yourself plats and time. Alright, so next we have void feature farming. I'm going to talk about this one just a little bit longer than the other parts in the video, just because that I am very passionate when you see it comes to like farming this efficiently. If you guys catch my streams every now and then when I do go live on Warframe, you guys know that void features is the most fun thing for me to do on Warframe when it comes to grinding out any content in the game. For mission types that you should be doing alone when it comes to speed farming, void fissure missions are capture, rescue, exterminate, and sabotage missions. As of this recording, I can't show you all of them currently because this current void fissure rotation is pretty trash, except for this exterminate mission. But the reason why you want to be doing these 4 mission types alone, because you can complete each of them in a minute or under, depending on how fast you and your teammates are at speed running missions. Especially if you see you're using frames like Neja, Volt, Titania, and Wukong. These 4 are excellent when it comes to like speed running through tile sets extremely fast. The worst mission types you could possibly do in the game is survival, mobile defense, spy mission types, and just regular defense. And did I say interception? Yeah, interception as well. So these mission types are generally ones that you want to avoid because they take a lengthy amount of time for it to complete. Survival, for example, takes you 5 minutes to get to 1 void rotation. That's too long. You could be doing like a capture mission where it takes you like a minute or under. Within that 5 minutes, it takes for you to get 1 piece in a rotation. Like now, mobile defense, same thing. You have to defend 3 mobile defenses, and that takes too much time because it's a set duration. You can't speed it up in any way, shape, or form. Spy missions are kind of fast, but if you run into a group that don't know what they're doing when it comes to doing like hacking or fail them constantly, then there's no reason for you to be doing spy missions if you can't do like any of the other 4 mission types that I suggested. Defense, same thing. You never know what group you're going to end up matchmaking with, especially in defense. Like sometimes you don't get anybody who using a DPS frame that can allow you to like just blitz through all of the waves like really quickly. If you have like no frame like Serin or Equinox, then you're gonna take a long time for you to just get through one wave. So this is definitely a mission type you want to avoid, like the most for sure. Now the reason why I'm saying this for mission types, just for me to refresh your mind: capture, rescue, exterminate, and sabotage. The reason why I'm telling you these are like the best ones and the fastest ones for you to do is simply because that when you do, for example, you have like an hour dedicated to farming void fishes alone, so you can get those ducats and prime parts up, you know. So take for example survival. It takes you 5 minutes for you to get to one void rotation. Within that 5 minutes that it takes you to do that mission, you could have done a capture mission 5 times in that time it takes you to get to one rotation in survival. Now think about that. You could have gotten 5 different prime paths within that 5 minutes than if you had just sat in a survival mission for 5 minutes just for you to get one prime path. So you see where I'm going. Alright, so the next one is XP farming. I wasn't too sure whether or not to include this in here as part of the video, but here we are anyways. I'm just going to touch on this briefly because it's XP farming and everybody should know where to like farm XP. There's like a shit ton of videos out there anyways that go into this in depth. So I'm just going to like briefly touch it. So if you go to like Sedna, which is like the place for you to be farming XP that is like really well known and shit, is going on High Sedna and doing this mission type called Hydron. It's a defense mission type. Literally everybody goes on here to farm XP for new friends, weapons, companions, Tenno, etc. It's very nice for you to farm XP here, especially if you see you have like a Speed Nova and somebody who using like a DPS character like Siren or whatever. You can farm XP like extremely fast. The most fastest way for you to be farming XP is by going in the Syndicates tab and doing Elite Sanctuary Onslaughts with Cymars. This mission the enemy types are like 60 to 70, like it starts off at 60 and then it slowly gradually gets higher as you go further in the Sanctuary Onslaught. This is like the best way for you to farm XP, like hands down, like the only way. This is our replacement for Old Draco, if you know Old Draco RIP. So this is like the best way for you to farm XP. Like generally, I don't need to explain reason why. Just go into an sanctuary also, stay there like a couple of rounds, and you have your frame maxed out in like no time. Especially if you see you have like an XP booster. So you want to know how to get like millions of credits. Sometimes you see players with millions upon millions of credits when you go to trade them in like your clan dojo or Mara's Bazaar. Why would you be in Mara's Bazaar when you can just go to a clan dojo? Anyways, you want to know how to get millions of credits like super quick. You want to go to Neptune and you want to do index, and that's pretty much it. You just want to do index farming like for a long time for you to get like millions of credits. It doesn't take too long, and you get credits like super fast by going through the index. Especially if you have like a good team that know what they're doing. So you want to be doing the highest risk possible so you can like get the most return, obviously, in the index, and that is doing this one. So highest risk investment, you potential profit is like 200k, get 250k, and you just invest like 50k. So you give them 50k to invest, and then you get a return of like 250. Boom, just like that. So like do a couple of rounds of index farming, you can get like a meal easily. Especially if you say you're using like frames that like are the most popular to use when it comes to farming this, like the fastest way. So like within an hour, you could probably have like about what 50 million credits. Especially if you see you have like a credit booster, you'll be getting like mad credits back like super quick within that hour of farming index alone. So we have endo farming. Now there's a lot of videos out there showing you how to do endo farming, but you already know what this video is. I'm going to show you the most efficient ones to do for you to save your time. So first on the list when it comes to like gaining endo pretty quickly, and that is like the fastest method in the game, is by going in the mod section on your ship. And if you go here in your duplicates, you want to sell all of the duplicate mods that you have. Throughout your time in playing the game, spending hours grinding and just playing the game in general, you'll gain a shit ton of duplicate mods that you will not need for no matter the reason. All you just need one copy of that mod. And typically, whatever mod that you're using, you'll have like a maxed out one that you will just have for collection purposes or for use. So you want to select all of the duplicate mods that you have here that you are definitely not going to use. and you just go through all of them and select all. And you can see here that the ones that I selected all of for the duplicates, I already gained like 4,700 endo if I decide to dissolve all of them. You could also dissolve them and sell them for credits, but that's a waste of your mods when you can just do index farming. So you want to dissolve them into endo. This is like the fastest way for you to gain endo, funny enough. The second most efficient way for you to farm endo is by going on Sedna. There's an arena mission type called Naki, and there are two other arena mission types that you can do, but I would not recommend doing because of how high level they are. And you want to like farm them like as fast as possible, and these require judgment points as well, so you don't really want to be doing this too. You want to be doing Naki. Takes you like, you can go through these mission types pretty fast for the arenas, and you get like thousands of endo like within like minutes of just playing the arena, especially if you see you're doing like a full squad of 4 and one of the frames that are on the team is like a necros, which can dispel the enemies upon death, which gives you extra chances of getting like endo and mods. This is a great farm, especially because you gain extra mods upon like just doing the mission, and those mods will turn into duplicate mods for like repeated playthrough of the arena types, and you can just dissolve those mods into endo, and the enemies drop like a shit ton of endo just in general, so you can gain like thousands within like minutes again. Now the next mission you want to be doing that you can farm most efficiently is the endless missions on Deimos. So if you go talk to Mother and you check out her bounties, she has this mission here, Artifact Hunter call, and it's an endless mission type. So you typically want to do this. Every now and then it can rotate to doing like an excavation mission, which you typically want to get, because doing the excavation mission like is a lot better in my opinion. So if you do the endless mission types, you can see as the possible rewards you gain endo with each tier. So 250, 500, and 750. These are like the best way for you to farm endo if you don't want to do like the arena mission type. And you also gain iron and amber stars, which you're going to be using for later. Another way for you to farm endo pretty quickly is if you have item sculptures. Now, the best ways for you to get item sculptures passively is by doing missions in general, where item sculptures have a chance of like spawning, or if you do arbitration missions, they have a chance of dropping item sculptures upon drops. And if you do a mission that Maro gives you every once a week, which is like, she says like, I'm looking for treasure, and then you select that and she teleports you to an Orokin task set where you go into a vault and you take an item sculpture. So while you're playing the game passively and you gain item sculptures, you typically want to use your item stars and your item ambers to fill up those sculptures. So you can go to Maro here and you can sell your item items and you can extract them for endo. So that's what you typically want to do when you gain your item sculptures. Fill them up and then you sell them for Mara for endo, which is a pretty efficient way for you to get endo pretty quickly. Alright, so the other way for you to farm endo pretty quickly, I wasn't too sure whether or not I should include it here because like some of the mission types can take long sometimes, and it's a real jack mission. And people just typically don't like doing real jack missions at all. You want to go outside of your terminal that's outside of the dry dock near your ship, and you want to go into scrap recovered wreckage, and you want to sell all of the scraps that you have in your inventory that you're not going to use anymore. You want to select all of them and sell them to convert them into endo. And this is like one of the fastest ways for you to gain endo as well, because of how much scrap you gain just by completing a mission type. So as you see, I selected all of the scraps that I have that I'm not going to use, and I gained 5,600 endo like that quickly. I would recommend doing the other mission types that I showed you and the methods for you to farm endo. Realjack, as much as you gain endo and how much you gain, it's generally not a fun mission type that a lot of people enjoy, and some of the mission types can take long. So use this how you will. Last on the list, we have focus farming. Now I'm just going to get straight into it. The fastest way and the most efficient way for you to gain focus is by doing Eidolon hunts on plains of Eidolon. So you want to go to Cetus and you want to speak to Konzu when it's nighttime, and you want to select the bounties that have to do with Eidolon hunting. Now, the best way for you to do idol hunting is running with a group that knows what they're doing. That is like the most important thing. because groups that know what they're doing typically do trident hunts, and that is 3x3s, and you have the rare groups that do 5x3s in a single night. Now, the reason why you're farming eidolons that much is because if you go into your focus schools and you go into focus conversion, you can trade in all of these eidolon shards that you gain from capturing an eidolon, and you can convert them into focus. Now, I selected all of the eidolon shards that I gotten just by doing eidolon hunts, 462, and I have a million of focus just by converting that alone. This is the most efficient way for you to do focus farming and the most rewarding, because by defeating eidolons and capturing them, you have the chance of gaining arcane mods as well as gaining eidolon shards for focus. So it is the most rewarding and most efficient way for you to farm focus in the game. So that pretty much wraps it up for the video. That is like the complete guide of how you can farm all of the resources in Warframe the most efficient way possible. If you guys thought of different mission types that you can farm more efficiently that I may have missed, leave it down in the comment section below. Hope you guys like, share, and subscribe, all that good stuff, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.